What's up and welcome to the World Cup 2010 edition of Football Everyday, coming to you live and direct from the studios here at Menara Star in PJ. My name is Nelsen Ng and it's good to be back. And I tell you what, joining me today in studio, Ian Yee.
What's up?
And my bro, Zack. Good to see you
Hi
again,
man,
bro.
good to be back.
Good to have you back, yeah. Like I said, it's good to be back and good to have you guys back as well. So let me start by getting your opinions on the hype and build up to this moment where the tournament kicks off tonight in South Africa. I mean, I'll start with you, Zack.
Sure. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it, Nelson. I mean, we were working the last World Cup, and you know when World Cup time rolls around, all bets are off, right? It's going to be a fun month of footballing excellence.
Football, right? Yeah. I mean, Ian, you know, with so many injuries, sudden injuries, you know, befalling some of the big name players and stuff. What do you? I mean, what's your take on the whole
I think
tournament?
it's still going to be a good tournament in spite of the injuries, because there's still a lot of talent on show. Especially the biggest players are still there. People like Messi, you know.
Ronaldo.
Thankfully, Torres is back, and Ronaldo, Rooney, they're all fine.
Right.
So we're still going to have a heck of a tournament here.
All right. Well, speaking of South Africa, Ian here was lucky enough to have recently caught up with the South African chargé d'affaires in Malaysia, Mr. Andre van der Venter, on his thoughts on the World Cup. Ian, nice guy he was, right?
Yeah, but unfortunately, he wasn't too big of a football fan. I mean, he likes the sport and everything, but he is actually more of a rugby fan. But he still has some stuff to tell us.
All right, so here's Mr. Andre on South Africa being the host nation, along with his take, you know, on the national team's chances, and of course, comments on the much derided vuvuzelas. Check it out.
Ian, this is a huge event, and South Africa in general is very, very excited to host this event. It's for us as South Africans, it's a huge honor, and we realize the responsibility that comes with hosting the World Cup. So we're very excited. It's now 2 days before the actual kickoff, and you can feel the electricity in the air in South Africa, I was told. We have hosted many other tournaments. Last year it was the Confederations Cup. Yep. We hosted the Rugby World Cup. We hosted the Cricket World Cup. We hosted huge conferences without any incident. We received about 10 million visitors, tourists, every year. And South Africa has never experienced major crime aimed at tourists.
Last year there was a lot of talk about the vuvuzela as well. So is it a big part of South African sporting culture to have the trumpet there?
Yeah, the vuvuzela is, jokingly said, it's our secret weapon. It makes a hell of a noise, but I don't think it will really influence the players on the field. It shouldn't. You get used to it quickly. But it's part of the South African culture. Also the hard hats. I don't know if you've seen that one. It's called makaraba. Okay. It's a hard hat, a construction hat that has been designed in a special way. So you find that it's quite common where spectators wear the makaraba and blow the vuvuzela.
So why do they wear the makaraba?
It's just part of the decoration to support their team.
Okay.
We've done quite well in the past few matches that we've played. In fact, the last 13 matches that we've played, we haven't lost any of those 13 matches. So I think we have a realistic chance to go beyond the first round and into the second round. But I will be crossing my fingers that we will do well. But I must admit, with teams like Brazil and Spain and Germany and other excellent teams, it's going to be hard pressed for South Africa to go beyond the first round. Having said that, if South Africa doesn't go beyond the first round, I would dearly put my money and shout for another African team to do well in this World Cup, because it's an African World Cup, and we would like to see an African team doing well.
Nice one. So as you can see, Zack, Mr. Andre said he believes the South African team, you know, are good enough to emerge from the group stages. So very quickly, would you agree with him?
Well, you know, Nelson, they've come into the tournament in some good form. I'm just reading here, and there's very cool star pull-out here. That they've been unbeaten in their last 12 since Pereira took over. So that's a very impressive ratio there. Well, I see that teams, they haven't brought the likes of Benny McCarthy, right? I mean, he's one of the most renowned South African players that we know. Instead, he's going to rely on a locally based player, Mafela, I think his name is. So, I mean, the jury's still out on that. But as an Everton fan, of course, there's Stephen Pienaar. And I'm hoping my boy does a good tournament, you know. I mean, he's one of their stars, and everything's going to revolve around him.
All right, great stuff. But it is time for our first break here on the show. So we'll be right back with more World Cup chat and banter here on Football Everyday. So we'll see you real soon. Welcome back to Football Everyday here with me, Nelson, Zack, and Ian, of course. It is, of course, the World Cup edition, guys. So before we look at tonight's matches, very quickly, I just want to get, who are your personal favourites going into the tournament? I'll start with you, Ian.
Personal favourites. I'm not too big on international football, but of course, naturally, I'm a fan of the English Premier League, so of course
England.
I'll be, kind of, sort of supporting England. But I think Spain has to be the favourites. They're just playing outstanding football.
Yeah, you got to agree. I mean, what about you, Zack?
Well, whenever these big tournaments roll around, I think you can't look any further than Brazil. I mean, on paper, they look like the most solid team. And they're good travellers. The thing about this is it's the first World Cup in Africa, right? Europeans, I don't think they're renowned for their travelling prowess.
Right.
Bar the Germans, I think the rest of them tend to kind of get derailed when they go out of the European continent.
No Ronaldinho as well. Right?
No Ronaldinho as well. But, there's my man Fabiano. I mean, that guy can score for fun. So my money's on Brazil.
All right. Well, so let's get into the business with the opening match at 10 p.m. tonight between host nation South Africa and Mexico. Ian, look, South Africa going to this one, as Zack said earlier on, on good form in general, having enjoyed some encouraging results in their warm-up games. So would you say they're capable of beating, a sometimes mercurial yet inconsistent Mexico?
I think it's going to be a tough one for South Africa. It's probably going to be a high-scoring game, like Zack were talking earlier, because South Africa going to be encouraged by the crowd. They're going to be pushing on, trying to get a result. But Mexico, they're going to play three up front. That's how they usually play with the United's new player, Javier Hernandez.
Right.
He's going to be a real threat up there, and with Dos Santos next to him and Carlos Vela.
Yeah.
So the South Africans might want to be a bit careful of that. They might end up just getting ran over by all that attacking talent.
Zack, what's encouraging for both sides, is that two key strikers are playing well with Katlego Mfela for Africa, and new Man United recruit Javier Hernandez for Mexico.
Sure.
But I tell you what, along with them, you mentioned Steven Pienaar, and there's the evergreen Rafael Marquez for Mexico as well.
That's right.
I tell you what, how crucial will they be, and are you expecting goals as well?
Well, of course, big players always come to the fore in big tournaments, and that's what the coaches will be looking for. Surely Pereira will be looking for Pienaar to pull the strings. I mean, he's the one that the Africans will be looking for to pass the ball to make things happen. And similarly in the Mexican team, I mean, Marquez is a huge name, right? I mean, he's Barcelona linchpin. Yep. So they'll be looking at him to shore things up. But Nelson, I just got to qualify my statement earlier. Mate, I'm an England fan. You know that, right? Yeah, but they're going into the tournament looking a bit
shaky and
strange. Jamie Carragher in the team and all that. So that's why I'm looking for Brazil. But back to your question, tonight's game. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. You mentioned the Vuvuzela, is
Vuvuzela,
it?
yeah.
Vuvuzela. I mean, that could be the thing that really repels the Mexicans. Could put them off their game completely.
The Mexicans are used to the party atmosphere anyway.
But I was going to ask Ian. I mean, look, we know how home advantage is and how important home advantage is in big tournaments. In helping the host nation out. So with the Macarakpa hats and Vuvuzelas and names like Surprise.
The Macarakpa
hats.
So what's one of them?
It's like it's a hard hat. It's like a construction
It's like a local
hat.
miner's helmet kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's for the South Africans.
Yeah, so apparently they wear that because I think the history behind it, I'm not too sure about it. I heard somewhere that it's because that at the stadiums people tend to throw stuff down. So you gotta wear the hat. So it's part of the culture.
And I tell you what, and player names like Surprise Moriri. So Ian,
I've heard worse.
Can South Africa spring a surprise in this tournament? Especially if they beat Mexico tonight.
It's gonna be hard because their biggest problem will be back in defense. I know they have Aaron Mokoena there, but against teams like especially Uruguay, they have Forlan and Luis Suarez, who's an excellent player. They're gonna struggle. They're gonna struggle. It doesn't matter. I mean, home advantage just make a difference. But it comes out of quality. I don't think they've got it.
Right. To be fair, Nelson, out of all the African nations, I mean, no one's really seeing South Africa to go very far in this tournament. I hope they stay in because you always want the host nation to stay in. It's good for the crowds. It's good for the tournament. All
right. Well, it's almost time for our second break here on the show. But just before that, if you'd like to share your thoughts with us here on Football Everyday, do drop us an email at football@thestar.com.my as usual. And, well, if your email gets read out, I tell you what, you'll take home a cool Adidas World Cup Premium, all right? Time now for our second and final break here on the show. More chat to come, so do stay tuned to Football Everyday, and we'll see you real soon.
Get the Star, Malaysia's leading English daily, anytime, anywhere. As the Star moves into the new multimedia frontier, we continue to serve the people in Malaysia and beyond. The Star, the people's paper.
But you know, he's had a quiet
You're back with us
season.
on the third and final segment of Football Everyday World Cup edition. I'll tell you what, we've spoken about the opening match in Group A, so now let's get into the other one at 2:30 AM, I believe, where France square off against Uruguay. Look, guys, for me at the moment, you know, when someone mentions the name France, well, it doesn't quite give off, you know, the same formidable
Another
feeling.
name springs to mind. Raymond
Dominic.
Dominic.
Right?
Oh,
I mean, compared
gosh.
to the likes of Spain, Brazil, Argentina, you know, and a large part of it, as I said, you know, I believe is down to their manager, Raymond Dominic. So you would agree, right, Ian?
I used to be a huge fan of France, especially in the around the
jacket time.
98 and 2000, where they were just
You glory
excellent.
hunter, you.
No, I'm sorry, yeah. Because back then I was just starting to get into football back then. So, but when I watched them play, it was just amazing. But equally amazing is how Dominic has took them from there all the way to where they are now. It's a joke.
Right.
The national team is a joke, and the public doesn't like him, and somehow he still managed to stay there.
Right, I mean, look,
Yeah.
Zack, we know former World Cup winner Laurent Blanc has signed on to replace Dominic
Sure.
after Africa 2010.
Right.
So would you say it's a step in the right direction?
Well, it's a step in the right direction, but it's a strange step to announce this before the tournament has even started. It's a typical kind of mysterious
Right.
French way of working. I mean, if you're going to install a new man after the tournament, why not bring him to the tournament? Maybe as aid to Dominic. But like Dominic's there, he knows this is his swan song, so you can expect him to
Go all out,
maybe
right?
try and go out with a bang, you know.
But
You know, sorry, Nelson, look at this French team, right? A lot of people have written them off now. But I'm just reading this team now. It's a good
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
They've got
It
a solid
is.
defense. They've got good midfielders. It all depends on how Dominic sets his team up.
Right.
I just read today that he's changing his system. He used to be famed for two holding midfielders.
Midfielders,
Now
right.
he's actually going to a 4-3-3, sorry. So
adventurous
he's
then.
changed his
Yeah.
tactic 1 month before the tournament starts. So it remains to be seen how that would work.
Right, well, their opponents tonight, Uruguay, are past winners themselves, as we
Right.
know. So, Zack, I mean, if either of these two hope to progress to the knockout rounds, I mean, look, a good result is vital, right? Because, look, they are considered on paper the two strongest teams in Group A.
Sure.
So, and
But
they're
you
playing
know,
each other in the opening
when
match.
two of them face off tonight, you know, the edge has got to be with France. I think looking at that team, they've got the
Right.
pedigree, they've certainly got the strength in numbers, and it looks like a well-balanced team. All depends on how crazy Dominic is. Maybe the stars are not aligned.
Yeah,
You know, he's a
yes,
big
yep,
astrology
philosopher
fan.
kind of thing, right?
As long as he's normal and he's sane, I think France can win this game.
Which he's not.
I mean, Ian, we know Uruguay strike force, as we mentioned, is going to be
Yes.
led by none other than former Man United hitman and recent Europa League winner Diego Forlan. So, well, congrats to him, you know. But we know we know what he's capable of. But over the course of the season, for me, it's his partner Luis Suarez of Ajax
Yeah.
Amsterdam that has caught the eye. I mean, look, it's what 49 goals in 48 appearances.
games.
So, look, this
Yeah.
pairing is definitely going to cause the French backline some problems, right?
Yeah, actually, I think, sorry, Zach, but I think there's going to be an upset on the cards here because Gallas has been making the usual.
Sure.
He's been sulking again.
Yeah.
But
crying
the
when
guy's a perpetual sulk, so
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
it's just,
Yeah.
as it were, you know.
Yeah. So I think
Right.
the back four is going to have some trouble trying to contain Forlan, and actually I think Suarez is going to be more dangerous than Forlan because with Forlan you know
Right.
what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Suarez is a bit of an unknown
Unpredictable
entity,
and, yeah.
but he knows how to score goals. He can score from anywhere around the penalty area. He has that talent to strike the ball.
Yeah.
So and you can't argue at that record. 49 goals in 48 games.
appearances.
That's actually
Unbelievable.
higher than Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
So
Zack, very quickly then, how do you see this one panning out? I mean, give me a score prediction, man.
Well, you know, Ian's put the cat amongst the pigeons there. Yes, I do know Suarez's goal-scoring record's amazing, but you temper it with the fact that he's got them goals in the Dutch
In
league.
the
No,
Ajax,
no
yeah.
don't
True.
disrespect
True.
to the Eredivisie, is that what it's called?
Yep.
The
Yeah.
Dutch league? But come on.
yeah,
You know, let's get
it's
real,
It's not
people.
La Liga, right?
Yeah, I'm
it's
going
not
for
La Liga.
France, and I'm going for a boring 1-0 France.
Right. Ian?
I think it will be an upset. I think it'll probably be like 2-1 to Uruguay because
Wow.
France, I don't think they're that great going
All
forward.
right. So we'll see what happens tomorrow
we'll see.
morning. We're coming to the end of the show. Just before that, a very quick thank you to Adidas Malaysia for making our Football Everyday set look like super cool. Well, we'll see you same time, same place tomorrow, where we'll take a look at Group B, where Greece faces South Korea, Argentina take on Nigeria.
Yes, come on,
and
Greece.
Zack's England face the US of A in Group C. Well, guys, thanks for being here. See you soon.
Thanks for having
Till then,
us.
it's Chow from us here on Football Everyday, and thanks for watching. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Ciao.
Look, chat
Great
and
stuff,
banter,
guys.
chat and banter.
I'll pull
Look
up
at
one
the
tomorrow.
absolute cunt, mate.
What?
I hate